Hey y'all, it's Wendy. Today's inspiration comes from the Walt Disney World Resort's EPCOT's Flower and Garden Show, which is held in the spring every year. This embankment of flowers gave me the idea to utilize the Retiform technique in card making. I love all the flowers, the butterfly pavilion, the birds, so I'm going to use those inspirational pieces for my card today. Here's the example of what we're going to make. And as you can see, it's sectioned off just like the embankment of flowers. And then I'm using the butterflies, flowers, and birds to incorporate into my card. I'm going to start by using some Recollections brand white cardstock. It is a relatively lightweight card. It's 65 pounds. Some Distress Oxides in antique linen and brushed corduroy. MEMENTO dye-based ink in Paris DUSK, some Post-it notes, a blender brush, which I don't end up using. I ended up using some finger daubers, and a piece of scrap paper. The idea of the Retiform technique is to create shapes. So in this case, I'm going to create some triangles using my brushed corduroy ink and some finger daubers. You do not have to think about how smooth your blend is. Actually, a little chunkier is a little better. And you're just going to use your scrap piece of paper as a barrier. I am going to ink up my edges just a little bit because we're going to fill in those triangles a little later. Now I'm just going to change the angle of my scrap piece of paper and hold it down and just move and make another triangle. I'm going to speed this up a little bit because after this, we're just going to continue to make triangles until the whole page is filled. With my triangles all complete, I'm now going to use my finger dauber and use my antique linen Distress Oxide and just very lightly go over the entire card. It doesn't matter how smoothly the blend is. Like I said earlier, a little splotchy is good. It gives some texture to the card. Okay, it's time to get ready to do the stamping. So let me just tidy up here a little bit. I am going to place my embossing mat from my Spellbinders Platinum 6 machine underneath my cardstock. I like a little bit of a spongy texture when I stamp. I've chosen Bo Bunny's Beautiful Butterfly stamp set, Crafter Square from Dollar Tree, birds, y'all, this was $1.25, and Stampers Anonymous number THMM124 stamp set. You can choose whatever you want. Just pick a theme and stick with it. Okay, I'm going to stamp my butterfly first, and this is the first time I'm using a butterfly from this set, so I am using a glue eraser to scrub the back of the butterfly. It gives me a much better impression. I have chosen to use MEMENTO's Paris DUSK dye ink for my entire card. Get those Post-it notes handy because now you're going to section off each section that you want to stamp in. So I'm going to do the top left corner. So I need 3 pieces of Post-it note. Now you want to position the butterfly so that part of it does not actually make it onto your card. So as you can see, I'm going to turn it this way and that way and get parts to fill up that section. Press rather hard because you are going over a Post-it note, which seems like it's got a very thin presence on your card, but it will make a difference to the stamp itself. And sometimes you'll see that it doesn't quite stamp properly. So press hard. On to the next section that I have cordoned off with those Post-it notes. I've decided to use a flower in this section, and you're going to see that I didn't take my own advice and did not press hard enough, and I got a partial stamp for that first stamp. But that's okay, because I'm going to trim this up later and you're not even going to notice it. Now you will notice that I'm going to keep turning my card before I choose to determine where I'm going to place my stamps. This next section is in the center part of the card, so I do need to pop on an extra Post-it note to block off anything from getting stamped into another section. I have chosen to use the bird from the Crafter's Square Clear Stamp set. Y'all, I paid $1.25 for that set. Is it the best quality? No. Does it do the job? Absolutely. I am using what I have. If it doesn't stick to my acrylic block, I simply pop a little Tombow removable adhesive to the back of the stamp, put it on my acrylic block, and off I go. I did scrub all of those stamps with the glue eraser that I also got at Dollar Tree for $1.25. And I am filling up that square or triangle, whatever, with a little piece of the butterfly as well. Okay, I think y'all get the idea and the hang of it. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit, and I am going to particularly pay attention to the orientation of those birds and butterflies. I don't want them all to face the same. I want them to kind of be topsy-turvy. So you're going to see that I keep looking back underneath the Post-it notes to make sure that I'm not copying the same orientation for those items each time. I encourage you to look around and see how you can incorporate the things that you love into your own paper crafting. For me, that's everything Disney. I find inspiration in the beautiful landscaping, the themed resorts, the many festivals, and even the attractions. Share the things that you love with others in your own unique way. Now, back to the card. I have decided to put a matte backing on my card in a navy blue. Again, it's a Recollections or Michael's brand of cardstock. And I'm going to cut this down. I'll be honest with you, I really wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to the size. I think it turns out to be about 3 1/4 by, I don't know, 4 1/2 for the actual picture part of the card. And then the mat's about 1/4 inch larger than that, and then onto my card base. I am using Ranger's Multimedia Matte Glue to glue all of this card together today. So you can use your acrylic blocks to hold down sections of your projects. That way that they dry flat. I am using a MEMENTO intricate circular die set to cut out a piece of vellum for my sentiment. And the Infinity Hero Arts dies, the circle dies, for my little thank you sentiment. Now the thank you sentiment came from a Joann brand stamp set that I probably paid $2 for. Again, super inexpensive. Use what you have and make it work. I originally stamped it in the Paris Dusk, and because I didn't have anything under it, I didn't like the way it's stamped, so I do flip it over and use that same circle, and I just restamp it in VERSAFINE black ink, and then I'm going to use my multi-medium matte glue again on the vellum and pop that thank you sentiment on there. I will spruce up the edges to kind of lift them a little bit. I didn't want to create a whole lot of bulk. I just wanted the delicate edge of the vellum to kind of stand out a little bit. And then I'm going to decide, do I want this to be a portrait or a landscape card? And where do I want to put that sentiment? Alrighty, we've made it to the end. This is my version of a Retiform technique, and I want to take you back to EPCOT and the beautiful landscaping that inspired me today, and then a look back at my final card. Thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate you. Hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you soon.